All right, it's time for another one of the golf characteristics, golf false swing characteristics, your bads, and all that other stuff. Today we're going to talk about the forward lunge. As always, Amber's going to kind of explain what it is and what's going on in the golf swing, and then I'll walk us through a couple exercises that we can do to help maybe change that a little bit and get rid of those swing characteristics. So tell us about the forward lunge.
Well, the forward lunge happens in the transition of the golf swing. So if we go into the back swing, everything's great. If you end up starting that downswing with the upper body, you might end up lunging forward and then following through, and God knows what could happen with that, all kinds of things. Shanks, pulls, slices, hooks, anything could happen depending on what's happening with the club face at the moment of impact there. So there's lots of different reasons, once again, that this could be. Mobility issue of the hips, of the low back, even down into the ankles. But it could also be a stabilization problem of the core. One of the biggest problems is not being able to disassociate that upper body and lower body. So lots of reasons it could happen, and this could be one of the things that is for you.
Doesn't sound fun to me, honestly. It sounds like you're going to do a lot of hitting balls in the wrong direction.
A long day.
Long day.
Long day.
All right, so here come those exercises. Now, what she talked about in one of them was the inability of the core to resist or stop any certain types of motion, right? And lunging into it, or as she also said and just pointed out there, this disassociating of the upper and lower body. So we need this area to be nice and solid. So why don't we go with something basic that almost everyone has tried to do at some point, but can always still do? And I'll tell you right now, even when I do it at this point in my career, I can still feel the tension and how hard it is, especially if I put effort into it. So the first one, real simple, is the plank. So I'm going to have Amber go ahead and get down on her elbows and toes. And she's doing a plank. I mean, it's really basically a push-up position. The one thing that a lot of people do, go ahead and extend your hips. They'll have a lot going on right here in their low back. They're hanging out on the muscles of the low back. What we actually want to do is we want to think about tucking our pelvis under. So go ahead and tuck it under and squeeze our butt. We're trying to pull the ribs, the bottom of the ribs and the top of the pelvis together, crunching the abdominals, trying to work on the anti-extension of the abdominals there. So it'll also help stabilize on the obliques, everything like that. So if we can build stability, it will allow the hips and the thoracic to move better and hopefully more independently. All right, go ahead and stop right there, Amber. That's perfect. I suggest you work yourself up to doing a good 30-second hold, and the more you actively think about pulling the ribs and the pelvis together, the harder it is, so the more you'll get out of it.
Dan, I was shaking.
She was shaking. You know what, get down there and do it. No. All right. The next one we're going to do is actually just a split squat. Now, you're thinking this is, a basic exercise as well. There's balance involved. There's mobility in the hips. There's mobility in the ankles, as she talked about. There's mobility all over and strength that has to be built in here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and have Amber just perform a couple split squats. Choose it. Whoa, hey, scaring people here. All right, so go ahead, do a few reps. Basically, what we're looking for here is, the front leg is where most of the weight should be. The back leg is getting just like a kickstand action. That back knee's going straight down to the ground. Most of the weight goes onto that front leg as she does it and goes down. But go ahead and actually turn to the camera for this next one. Now, here's one thing that I want you to notice. Because she's doing this on one leg, there's balance, right? As she goes up and down, strength's being built. There has to be mobility in the front of this hip to allow that leg to go back and not actually pull on her low back. So, real quick, turn that way for a second. If somebody's doing this is just for those of you that might have low back pain, go ahead and lean forward a little bit. Now go ahead and do it. So if you're having a little bit of back pain because you're arching your back and your hip doesn't have the mobility that it needs to truly get this, you can lean a little bit forward and get it, where it doesn't put any strain on your back to help out. But go ahead and stop there. So those are the two exercises, a plank and a split squat. I'll be honest with you, you do a few rounds of those too. I know her leg's burning already. Yeah, between the shaking of the core and the leg burning, you're going to get a good workout just with those two, but here's the great thing. It's going to help you in your golf swing and hopefully help you stop that forward lunge. And if it doesn't help with that, I guarantee you it's going to help with something else, okay? So enjoy the split squat, enjoy the plank, and get rid of those golf swing characteristics that are hurting your swing. How about that?
Happy practicing.